So, have you ever wondered how to turn all this AI hype into, actual money in your bank account? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down a proven playbook from entrepreneur Dan Martell for building a $1 million business with AI. Let's just dive right in.
And look, this is not just some theory. Martell lays it out crystal clear. He says this is the exact process he would use today. And considering he became a cash millionaire at 27 building software, when a guy like that gives you a roadmap, yeah, you're going to want to pay attention. This isn't a thought experiment, it's a proven system.
So, what's the target? It's the big one. $1 million in revenue within the next 12 months. Now, I know that's a huge goal for sure, but the plan we're about to walk through is designed to make this number way more than just a dream. It's designed to make it your reality. All right, so to get there, here's our game plan. We'll start with the overall blueprint, then we'll get into this kind of weird but absolutely critical idea of selling before you build anything. From there, we'll pick a profit model, actually build and automate the thing, and then wrap it all up with this super important mindset he calls long-term greedy. This is our path.
First up, the $1 million AI blueprint. The whole philosophy here is built on stuff that's already worked. Martell's used this exact process with his own AI companies, and get this, 3 of them hit $1 million in revenue in under a year. The big takeaway here? This is not guesswork. It's a formula you can repeat.
That brings us to the foundation of this entire strategy: sell before you build. Now, I know this sounds completely backwards, but it is, without a doubt, the most important step to make sure you don't fail. The whole idea is to get proof with real money from real customers that your idea is a winner before you even think about writing a single line of code. And this principle directly fights the #1 reason startups crash and burn. They build something nobody actually wants. So many founders just burn through months, sometimes years, building the perfect product, only to launch it and hear crickets. This pre-selling strategy is designed to just completely wipe out that risk.
So how do you actually do it? It's a pretty slick 3-step process. First, find 10 potential customers. But here's the twist. You ask them for advice, not for their money. Martell's insight is brilliant. When you ask for money, you get advice. But when you ask for advice, you often get money, because they basically sell themselves on your solution. Second, once you've got an idea, you offer a massive discount, like 50% off the annual price, in exchange for a case study later on. And third, you have to get them a result fast. Give them a quick win to build that trust and momentum.
Okay, so the whole pre-selling thing makes sense. But it brings up a pretty big question, right? Who are these customers? What market should you even be looking at in the first place?
And the answer is another one of these amazing counterintuitive gems. Go find a boring market. Seriously, forget all the flashy, trendy stuff. Martell says to focus on stable industries with high profit margins where things are still being done the old, manual way. You can literally use AI to find them with a prompt just like this one. Your goal is to find a really deep, expensive pain point, like an electrician who's missing calls and losing thousands of dollars, and then figure out exactly how your AI tool can fix that problem.
All right, so you've found a painful problem in a boring market. Perfect. Now it's time to talk money. We're moving on to choosing your profit model. And this is all about the math that actually builds wealth by focusing on profit, not just on bringing in revenue.
And the key to all of that profitability comes down to one word: margin. It's just the profit you make on a sale. Super simple. You sell something for $5, it costs you $1 to deliver it, your margin is $4. Now, what makes AI a total game changer is that it can absolutely crush your delivery costs, pushing them down to almost zero. And that means pretty much every dollar that comes in is pure profit.
And check this out, not all AI businesses are created equal when we're talking about those margins, not even close. AI services, a very solid 70%. AI consulting, even better, 80%. But the holy grail, the place you really want to be, is AI software. We're talking an unbelievable 95% margin. The end goal here is crystal clear.
But how do you actually get to that 95%? Well, the key is you don't have to start there. The path he recommends is to start with a service or a consulting offer. Why? Because it forces you to get your hands dirty and really truly learn your customers' exact problems and how they work. Once you've figured out a system for that, you evolve it into a scalable software product. And that is how you capture those incredible margins.
Okay, so we've validated our idea, we've found our market, and we've picked our high margin model. Now it's time to actually execute. This is the build, then automate phase.
This is where we create an offer people just can't say no to and, actually build the product.
So to get cash in the door quickly, you need a killer offer. First, and this is huge, you sell one specific benefit. Nobody buys AI. They buy 10 more customers a week, a real result. Second, get paid up front. Package your pricing to encourage it. It's so important for cash flow. Third, you gotta have scarcity. Only 10 spots left creates urgency. It makes people act. And finally, throw in a bonus that just destroys their biggest objection, like free training for their team, to make it an absolute no-brainer.
Okay, once you've sold the offer, you gotta build the product. But listen, we are not building a masterpiece here. We're building an MVP, a minimum viable product. The most important thing to remember is that it doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need a million features. It just needs to work, and it needs to solve the core problem you promised it would solve. That's it. It's all about value over shiny objects at this stage.
And you do not need to be a coding genius to get this done. You've basically got 3 paths. You can use no-code platforms like Zapier, which let you stitch together different apps to automate a process. For a little more control, you could use an AI-assisted coding platform like Replit. Or you can just hire an AI developer from a site like Upwork. But if you do that, make sure you give them a small, paid test project first, just to make sure they've got the skills.
As you start getting more customers, you're going to run into a really good problem to have. You'll be drowning in client work. This is exactly why you have to automate your delivery system from day one. This 4-step system basically turns your business into a machine. A payment comes in, and automation grants access. Another one kicks off the onboarding, and you have a system for support. This is how you scale without going crazy.
All right, we've covered all the tactics, the what to do and the how to do it. But seriously, none of it works without the right mindset. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical piece of the puzzle, thinking long-term greedy. This is all about building a real empire, not just a quick cash grab.
This quote from Martel just says it all, doesn't it? Short-term greed might get you a quick win, but it almost always sabotages your future. Long-term greed means you're making decisions today that are going to pay off for decades. It's about playing the long game right from the very beginning.
And this whole mindset gets broken down into a super simple, really memorable framework, the 3 S's of wealth. First, you master the skill of the sell. That's everything we just talked about, pre-selling, making a great offer. Then you build systems to scale that selling machine using automation. And finally, once you have a profitable, scalable business, you stack new offers and new products right on top for your existing customers. That right there is the formula for building an empire.
So there it is. That's the blueprint. From finding a hidden problem in some boring industry, all the way to building a scalable, automated machine that just prints money. It's a clear path in the middle of this massive, once-in-a-generation opportunity. The AI gold rush is absolutely here, which really just leaves one question for you to think about. What boring problem will you be the first to solve?